Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video we are going to be learning how to insert records into MySQL database using PHP We shall also use AJAX at the end of the video or at the end of the tutorial, so be tuned as we finish this tutorial. So the first step we need to do, we shall create a database table where we are going to create and insert our records. So I'll just come here and type localhost /phpMyAdmin. You need to make sure you've installed XAMPP server already so that you get access to PHPMyAdmin. You have to make sure the XAMPP server is already running, where you need to start this Apache and MySQL. So PHPMyAdmin has loaded already, so we shall create a new database called, give it any name, but in my case I'll call it tutorial. So after creating a database, we are going to create a table called records. You can increase here the number format, but we shall be having the name, age, contact and email, plus also the ID. So I'll click go. First I'll put ID, which will be an integer. We can make like 11 length of values, but it will be auto incremented. So I'll just come here and tick this so it becomes my primary key. So I shall put age, let me put name. We shall also be having age, contact. So if I want to add more values, I'll just go here and I say I need one more column, and you click on go. So contact, I also have email. So a name is a virtual, so I'll choose virtual. You can give here any number of characters you want, so I'll give 200. This was supposed to be age. So age, it will be a number, or you can even make it an int. You can give any values you want, so it will be 20. Contact, virtual, because it has various contacts like 07, which are not certainly just integers. Email, I'll give virtual because it involves characters, letters and symbols. So after doing this, you go to create, or you say save. After saving, your records will be already saved as records. Database name is called tutorial and the table there is called records. You can see that ID is the primary key, name, age, contact and email. So after doing this, you have to create a form. So after doing this, you come to your computer, your file explorer, you go to local disk C, you go to XAMPP. If you're using WAMP, you go to www folder. So I'll choose htdocs for those using XAMPP. So within here I'll create a new folder and I'll call it tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and to support my work. So in this tutorial folder, I'll just open it. So the text editor I'm using is called Sublime Text. You can be using anything, maybe like Visual Code or any other thing you prefer, or even Notepad. So I'll just come to my Sublime Text and I say open folder. I want to open that folder of what I have just opened or I've just created. So I'll look for that folder which was in htdocs and the folder name was called tutorial. So I'll open tutorial and I select this folder. After opening this folder, I'll just have to create my new file. Remember, we are from creating a database in which we are going to insert all our records. So to create a new file, you can come here and say file and say new file, or you can simply say Ctrl-N to create a new file. You can save this file as index. Let me save it as index. You can make it as HTML, but I would rather you call it with a PHP extension. So you save. Sorry, I need to save this in the folder I just created. So I'll go back to htdocs and I'll look for my folder. You make sure we are creating this new file in the what? In this new folder. So you save it there. So after saving it there, we are going to be writing HTML body and the default structure of HTML, so that we create a form onto which a user will be able to write and put the form in which will help us to collect the data. So I'll say HTML according to the text editor I'm using. Mine, it will just bring for me this HTML, and I'll press enter and the whole structure will come. So you can say this is tutorial. So within the body we need to write our form so that we can collect the name, age, contact and email. So to create a form, you just write the form tag, which is form, which brings you this. So I said we shall need to get the name, we shall need the age, we shall also need the contact and email according to the database we had created. So I will say label, this is label for name, sorry, that's name. Then I'll create an input field. Type is text because we want to get the name. So this is name, the name is name, the label is name. So I'll save this first and I'll go to my browser. If you're using Chrome or Edge or any other browser, just come here and write localhost / the folder name you are onto which you actually is keeping your files. So you say tutorial because that was my folder name, and I'll press enter. So if I press enter, to bring for me my index file, which was this. And you remember this, we've just created it. Or you can even write as, if you're a beginner, you can follow all this index.php to bring you the same thing, because this is the index file. So this is name. We are going to be collecting the name, age and contact. So we shall do the same for contact, age and email. So I'll just copy this and I duplicate it to get age, contact and email. So I'll just change this to age. Age will be a number, so here instead of putting text, you put number. Name is age. So input type, this one is for contact. It's also a text and name is contact. Email, we shall also need the email. Alright, this type is email. It can even be a text, so I'll say email. So this is our form. If I run this on my browser, you can see that more fields have been added like this. So if I want the fields to be aligned in a given way, I can simply just break this. So the code for breaking is BR. So the same for BR right here. So you put it the same here. If you're new to HTML and you haven't gotten some skills, this is a zero down tutorial to help you. No rushing, no beating around, but it can be helping you to master HTML plus PHP. So this is what happens, and we want the user to put their names, age and contact plus email. Then after they save, so I'll put a button here and I'll say button, you can say save. Yes, you can say save. So if I put this button, you will see it here. So every time a user does this, we want to save this into the database. So this is what we have so far. So what we are going to do next is to make sure we collect this form data and the user gets them and they are stored in the database. So I'll just come here and say you give this type, you can give it submit because we're submitting something. Then most importantly, you give it a name. Name is, you can give it save. Let me just give it save. So we want every time the user clicks on this button, this data is saved. So you come here to form and say action. Here we can give the action page onto which we are going to write PHP code to store these records. But most importantly, you say method is equal to post. You can give method post or get, but post is mostly used because it's more secure than get. So after doing this, we want to collect this data and retrieve it so that it's stored in the database. So I'll create a new file and I'll say, and I'll call it, let me actually save it and say it's called store.php. It's a PHP file too. So you can say action, our action page will be store.php. So I'll declare PHP here. I'll say this is how we write PHP, like this. This is how we open and close PHP. So first of all, we need to connect to the database, where this database we created was this one. This was a database, it was called tutorial, and it had a table called records. So we can also make a separate file to do what? To help us connect to the what? To the database. So I can call it database connect.php. So even here we need to open PHP and also close it like this, because we are going to write some PHP code so as we can be able to connect to our database. Here we need a host, which is our local host, then a user, which will be root, password, which will be none. If you have a password, you can put it there. Then the database name. So I'll say $, I'm declaring a variable for the connection, is equal to MySQL I connect. This is the default method that is used to connect to the database, and it has 4 parameters: the host, the user, and password plus the database name. So actually let me break it down, and I'll just define here host is equal to localhost. So we are doing this step by step so that you master this and don't make any mistakes and be able to make other complex projects. User is equal to root. We have password is none. There is no password, so you can leave it like that. Then $, database name, you can set db is equal to the database we did. It was called tutorial. If you remember very well, it is here tutorial. So after doing this, we are going to pass all of them here: $host, comma, $user, comma, $password, comma, $db. Yes, so this is what you have right now. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more. So after doing this, we shall check if the connection is true or it is connected. So I'll just comment and say check connection. So if the data, if this variable is not true, then we shall say the connection has died. $, I'll say $, data. This is the condition. Then die, we shall kill the connection, die. Then we shall give a message, connection failed. Then we shall also pass our connection variable, MySQL connect underscore error like this. So we shall be passing. So this is all we need to connect to the database. You can even do this in this same page, or you can just require this connection. So I'll come here and say require this file, database underscore connect .php, require database connect.php. So this is what we have. So what we have done, we have created the form, we have created the page to collect the form data, we also connected our database. So you save this and come back here. So you can see that this is all we have now. So what we want to do, we want to collect form data and insert it.